So the first part of this is actually effectively forking the repo from the GitLab repo 1 into your repository. So obviously the two platforms aren't going to talk to each other, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to clone repo 1 down to a local repository as a template, and then we're going to come back and push that stuff back into our template here in your GitHub repo. So what I'll do here first, I'm going to create ours. I'll clone that down, I'll create one over, and I'll clone the repo 1 down, and I'll copy them over, and then we'll have the GitHub piece of this done. So let's take a look here. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at repositories, and I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to call this one the same thing we've been calling everything, which is Big Bang ASE2. And you can make this private, and I'll do add README just to kind of initialize it and make it easy. So looks good. Create repo, and so that's making our repository. So this whole thing works with Flux and GitOps. So this environment is what I just created for our ACE to pull from and reconcile and build the environment. So when we pull, we're going to go over to repo 1 and pull that data down, and we're going to move it here, and then that environment is going to use our environment to clone. So I'm going to clone that locally. I'm going to put a new window here. And this. And I'll say git clone. And this is my repo now. So once again, I'm creating a place for our environment to reconcile from. And so this is that git repo that I just pulled down. So now we need to go over to this repo and clone it down. So same thing. And so this is going to make, this is template, right? So we need to take the GitLab repo and push it to ours. It's a little confusing, but the idea is we're taking, our environment needs to work with our GitHub environment, not GitLab. And so we take their template and push it to GitHub, and our environment then can use it. So once again, I'm going to do a git clone space clone, and I'm cloning their template down, okay? And so I'm just going to take a look at that real quick. So I'll open this up, and it should create just something called template. Okay, so here's their environment. And so simply what I'm going to do is just going to copy this stuff. I don't need the .git or VS Code. I'm taking their base dev prod, the Terraform stuff, and all their MD files. I'm going to copy that over to the ours, which was called Big Bang Ace 2, this guy, and paste it in. Replace that. And so now we copied their environment from GitLab into ours. And so I'm going to go to ours, which was Big Bang Ace 2, I think, and then git status. Oops. And you'll see we have all the stuff now. So I'm going to do a git add, git commit, initial, and then git push. And now we have, obviously in ours, all the stuff that they have in theirs. And so once again, once we get to the virtual machine and pushing this to Flux, Flux now is going to use our environment. We're going to make all of our changes in our environment in GitHub. So now let's move over to the virtual machine and deploy.